Dan Orlovsky, I love that buzzword sabotage. Do you agree with Lewis that they're sabotaging the season if they don't get this deal done?
Oh, of course, but they started sabotaging their season the day after they got waxed by Green Bay and did absolutely nothing. They have done nothing since at home they got absolutely destroyed by a guy who was playing in his first season as a starting quarterback with a bunch of receivers that people were like, who are they? They got destroyed on both sides of football and did nothing. This is just falling in line. This is falling in line with exactly what happened on that day, that they just think that they can just show up. What would the Dallas Mavericks be without Luka Doncic? That's my son's favorite basketball player. What would they be? Because nothing. They would be nothing without him. That's exactly what the Cowboys would be offensively without CeeDee. If you look at like the final 3 months of the season, I think it's 11 games, he was getting 13 targets a game. That's 35% of their offensive snaps pass game-wise. Of course they're sabotaging themselves. They already have. The season starts in 16 days, guys. Wake up, Dallas.
It is puzzling in that Jerry made that both all in.
Oh, yeah.
Orlovsky said they all out. They haven't done anything this offseason to make Cowboys fans optimistic about what's going on. Woody?
Dan already spoke about it where CeeDee is literally he's their whole passing offense. The fact that you haven't been able to sign CeeDee, Dak Prescott, you haven't come to a contract with him. Michael Parsons, you haven't.
If you're
you've developed all this talent.
Are you frustrated as a player not named?
Look at this man's face. Of course he's frustrated.
I just want to see, if this thing shouldn't be hard. The Dallas Cowboys, if we're going to be real about it, they're one of the best teams at identifying talent and developing talent.
Totally.
But why aren't you taking that next step and making sure these guys that you've developed, they're there long term? What is the holdup? Other teams are able to do it. Philly is able to do it. San Francisco is able to do it. All these, Green Bay, Detroit. Look at what the Detroit Lions have done this offseason. They've locked up all of their key players. And we're sitting here with basically 2 weeks left, and the Dallas Cowboys, we're still having the same conversation. When is CeeDee Lamb going to get done? What is Dallas doing? They're sleepwalking.
You know what the Cowboys are like? Jerry Jones is like that guy that you've been dating for 10 years, and he's like, don't worry, baby, I'm going to put a ring on it. And you're like,
dating
okay,
for 10 years.
Cool. But you're still waiting. You're like, where is the ring? Where is it? We have just been waiting, and Jerry's like, oh, we've had some promising talks. I'm not worried. I'm not stressed at all. I know that CeeDee knows that we want him, and I love him, and all this. But the guy's still not there. I will say, in defense of the Cowboys, I wouldn't use the word sabotaging. I feel like it's a little strong. Because let's say they get a deal done today. The guy's back on the practice field. If he's their entire offense, right, their whole passing, everything flows through him, then all right, they just hit the ground running. But to Dan's point earlier, you're waiting for the all-in moves.
Right.
And I don't know, Jerry and I seem to have different ideas of what all-in means, but they did nothing in free agency. They brought back Ezekiel Elliott, who they thought a couple years ago, he's washed. Oh, no, now he's back. So I don't want to say they're sabotaging, though, because if you get him back in the fold, well, the season's here. The only question is if he gets hurt.
Here's what I want to say.
If he pulls a hammy early.
Here's what I want to say.
What you got to say?
You know who they're playing week 1?
Ooh, talk about it.
Browns.
Talk about it.
Cleveland. Has anyone seen that defense?
I have.
Those boys are.
Listen. Marcus Lawrence is a baller. I appreciate his take. I appreciate his candid honesty. Came on first take of the Super Bowl week, which, by the way, was breaking news. We actually saw a Cowboys in the Super Bowl. Congratulations on that. But to see him. Well, I'm just saying. Him, I got mad respect for him. I got mad respect for him. And in all seriousness, I just like messing with him. In all seriousness, listen, I get where he's coming from on the Cowboys distractions, and he does have a point. I just wish he would acknowledge we haven't dealt with it. Not successful. We got 2 playoff victories in 8 years. I mean, but obviously they can't. They don't want to say that about them. They don't want to remind the world of their ineptitude. And I understand. But in the end, what it comes down to is that playing for the Cowboys is a distraction. The owner is a distraction. Being America's team is a distraction. Being in that bubble, that spotlight, that microscope, it ain't for everybody. Everybody can't handle the big time. Okay, they say they want it. They say they want the smoke. They say they want the allure, but they don't. A lot of times they can't handle it because, as we all know, pressure breaks pipes. Obviously, it can produce diamonds in some instances, but certainly never when it comes to the Cowboys. At least not the last 29 years of counting. So we have to understand that. We have to appreciate that for what it is. We have to accept that. And when I look at DeMarcus Lawrence, he's a brother who balls. He's a brother that goes out there and gives it what he's got. I've never looked at a Dallas Cowboys loss and blamed him because of his lack of productivity. So I give him mad credit for that. And he is being candid and he is being honest about how, look, don't expect to come here and for things to be all nice and peaceful and, without any controversy, drama, or anything like that. That's not how it rolls in Dallas, not with this owner. He acknowledges that. He said that. It is what it is. And so what can you do about it? All you can do is learn to deal with it, which they have failed to do. Again, 29 years.
Okay, I was just marinating on that. Damien, do you think the Cowboys are closer to missing the playoffs or making the Super Bowl?
Molly, the way I'm going to answer this is, let me finish.
Stephen A. Let him have his turn, please.
Just preference what I'm about to say is, first of all, my wife is a huge Cowboys.
Sure is.
And so
you're gonna do it. You're gonna do it. You're gonna do
it.
And so
you're blaming your wife.
She's a real Cowboys fan.
She's a real
I was
Cowboys
talking to
fan.
her in
That
Chicago.
explains a lot.
She knows her stuff.
That explains a lot.
And your kids are Cowboys
Yeah,
fans.
she's infected a couple of them. And I also got to say, I got bum rushed by some Cowboys fans this past weekend.
Really? Where?
Yeah, at church actually.
At church?
Yeah. They
wow,
didn't
no
appreciate.
shame.
First of all, they didn't appreciate They didn't appreciate what I said about the Cowboys last week.
Wow. What about forgiveness? That's what you learned there.
But then they really said, you need to talk to Stephen A. because the way he comes at us is just completely unfair, and that it needs to be addressed on national television. So I'm just passing the messages from these Cowboys fans that bum rushed me to you, Stephen A. about that. But anyway.
I'm glad everyone's in church, though. That's good.
I ain't worried about that. I ain't worried about none of that. I'm going to see them real soon. I'm going to see them in a couple of weeks.
Oh, you going down to
where?
You going down to Texas?
Or church? Which one are you going to?
Texas. Mr. Jerry Jones.
Oh my God, dude!
I'm rolling down to Texas.
You're gonna have
going to church, Miles.
Yeah, you're gonna have a little meeting with him.
That's right.
Are you gonna get a team of pep talk or something?
Oh no. This is me. I'm going to see Jerry.
Jerry, have a little meeting.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
He's been calling Jerry out a little bit.
Yeah, I've noticed that.
He's been calling Jerry.
You and Jerry cool?
He said, "Come on, Dan."
Well, they're gonna
He
talk
said, "Come on,
face to
Dan.
face, like
Come on,
old
Dan."
men.
Okay.
Yeah.
He said, "Come on." He said, "Come on down." And you know what I said, Dan Orlovsky?
Cameras or no cameras?
Damian Woody, Dan Orlovsky. You know what I said? He said, "Come on down." You know what I said? I reckon I will.
I don't even know what I reckon means in that sentence. I don't even know what the question is either. Are the Cowboys closer to missing the playoffs or going to the Super Bowl, Dan?
Me? No. They're closer to missing the playoffs. I'm not going to beat around the bush like Wood here, okay? Woody. Dude, they've won 12 games in each of the last 3 seasons. Let's be real about who the Cowboys are right now. Okay, let's just be real about
who are they?
Are they better than Philly? Honestly, no. Are they better than Detroit? No. Are they better than Green Bay? No. Are they better than San Francisco? No. Are they better than the Rams? No. There's some team in the South. I don't think they're better than Atlanta, but they're not better than whoever's going to win the South. They're 6th right there. So you mean to tell me that there's easily 6 that in Detroit ain't better than Detroit, Tampa Bay, or a Seattle? I don't think so. I think one of those teams is going to be better. So we're not even talking about Super Bowl. We're talking about getting into the dance. I don't think they get into the dance unless they play above their skis. So they're further away from closer to missing the postseason than they are winning Super Bowl, making Super Bowl.
Well, I appreciate the eloquency, the eloquence and the fluidity with which you dropped that dissertation on the American public, but it didn't require all of that. All you need to do is look at history. No, but answer that question did. I mean, my God, you didn't need to do anything else. I mean, all you had to do was sit up there and say, they ain't been closer to the Super Bowl than they've been to the offseason before. Why would anything change now? That's what the situation is, particularly with the contract squabbles with CeeDee Lamb. So we understand all of that, okay? And then, you Damian Woody, it explains, but first of all, we need to extend our condolences to Damian Woody. So the wife is a Cowboy fan and a couple of children. I mean, damn. I mean, Black cat running around the franchise, Black cat running around the Woody household, the Damian Woody household. That's what's going on here. No wonder we call you the notorious Liberace. You understand what I'm saying? Sitting there at the piano.
That's a cold nickname.
Why,
It is
why do we do that?
That
You
is
understand?
a cold
Because
nickname. I love that.
You need, tranquility. You need to calm the nerves. And I was wondering why. I'm like, damn. He's on TV working with Greeny and the crew doing Get Up. He shows up here on First Take. He's with his peeps. Why does he always look so stressed? And that explains it. It's your surroundings. It's your surroundings. You're surrounded with people who have a bloated view of a franchise, all right? They swear up and down every year. They like this, no, we're going to win the Super Bowl next year. No, we're going to win the Super Bowl next year. Now, we got to deal with that with them nauseated, disgusting fans, which have proven my point. Because when they're willing to bother you in church, you know they're trifling, okay? I mean, who else would bother people in church other than a Cowboy fan? Only a Cowboy fan would do such a thing. Nobody else would do it. But they would, because you know why? They don't have they don't grasp who they truly are. They keep living on what they once were and what they believe they're supposed to be. And the owner milks it till the cows come home. That's why he's a brilliant businessman. Their franchise is worth $10 billion. And their players individually are always very talented, but the collection of them together in that environment, in that pressure cooker confine, they can't handle it. I think most of the Cowboys will be all-world and they become champions the minute they departed from that organization. The problem is they're in that damn city, surrounded by those fans. And for you to have that in your home, I got to admit to you, I think you're the husband of the year, and I think you're the father of the year, because I can't even imagine what you have to do.
You're owning the husband of the year.
On a day-to-day basis.
You're really owning that one.
I didn't know your life was like that. I didn't know your life was like that. You never told me that before, Damian Woody. I'm shocked. I really, really am that you've been subjected to this. I really am.
Yeah, you're right on like husband and father. Like you're absolutely correct on that. But I will say this: the nickname of the notorious Liberace.
Yes.
Just peep this out, okay? During the season, don't be surprised when I'm remote and I play some on national television on First Take.
Yeah, you played a few notes when Stephen A was off.
Don't be surprised. So
you're working on a little piece?
I got something cooking. So don't be surprised when it happens.
You need to work on a piece. You need to work on a piece. Just a sad song. Schedule it for release. Schedule it for release in January. That's exactly when you'll need it. In January. First or second week in January.
You are sharp today. You are very funny. Even with your bad Wi-Fi.
So
you're having a very good show, Stephen A.
There's no Wi-Fi.
So they're closer to the Super Bowl. They're closer to the Super Bowl.
Hell no.
Closer to missing the playoffs. A lot of people think that, no, in all seriousness, a lot of people feel like the Cowboys took a step back. They're not as good as they were last year. I mean, is that fair to say?
Yeah. I mean, they lost, I think, like 6 starters, I want to say. Now Trey coming back, so.
Couple of offensive linemen, right?
Yeah, but those two rookies that they took, both Guyton and Beebe, they do look like they're unsurprisingly guys.
Can I just say this?
Yeah.
Can I just say this as an aside?
Yeah.
Can we see Philly first before we start anointing them? Because that's all you hear. Dan O and Stephen A. They've already anointed. They've already anointed.
Well,
Philly.
you know why Dan does that. He does that because his
anointed
wife.
Philadelphia.
The same thing. He does that because his wife. He's got a Philly bias.
Nah.
Yes, he does.
Nah.
Oh, yeah.